Okay, let me ask you something. Did you know that not negotiating your very first salary could cost you over $500,000 over your career? Yeah, it's a pretty scary thought, and it's exactly why so many of us get anxious just thinking about this conversation. But today, we're going to flip that script. We're going to turn that anxiety into action. So let's dive into how to master salary negotiation. So check this out. This slide really shows a huge disconnect. On one side, you have 73% of employers who are literally just waiting for you to negotiate. They expect it. But then on the other side, a whopping 55% of us just don't. We take that first offer. So why is that? Well, it usually just boils down to fear, right? We're afraid of looking greedy or of causing trouble, or even worse, we're afraid they might just pull the offer completely. But the truth is, when you don't negotiate, you're not just leaving a little bit of money on the table, you're leaving a big piece of your future behind. And this quote right here, it just nails that feeling that comes later: regret. You know that little voice in your head that keeps asking, what if? What if I had just asked? That feeling can stick with you for years. But it really doesn't have to. Today, we're going to get you set up with the right strategy and the confidence you need to make sure that voice stays quiet for good. So, how do we actually do that? How do we close that gap and get rid of that regret? Well, it's not about being some aggressive, hardball negotiator you see in the movies. Nope. The real win happens way before you even get on the call. It's all about preparation. So, let's start building your playbook. Okay, here are the 5 main pillars for any successful negotiation. First, you've got to know your worth. Second, you have to time it right. Third, you need to speak with confidence. Fourth, think about the whole package. And finally, you just have to ask. These 5 steps are going to be our foundation. We're going to break down each one so you can walk into that conversation with a solid game plan. Let's start with that first one, knowing your worth. Now, this isn't about what you feel like you deserve. This is about what the actual data says you're worth in the market. So you're going to use salary websites, check out LinkedIn, and actually talk to people you trust. The whole point here is to get a bunch of different data points. Why? Because that gives you a realistic range, and it helps you account for things like company size or where you live. The more data you have, the stronger your position is. Simple as that. Okay, so you've done your homework. You've got your data. You know your number. Now, it's time for the main event, the ask itself. And believe me, in this moment, the words you choose have so much power. This one little phrase right here, this is your secret weapon. It sounds so simple, but it's professional, it's powerful, and it totally changes the vibe of the conversation right from the start. So why does it work so well? Because it immediately pulls emotion out of the picture. You're not just saying, I need more money. You're presenting a calm, rational business case that's based on market data. And that, my friends, is very, very hard to argue with. But hey, it's not all about cold, hard facts. You also need to build a connection and show them that you're a partner here. And this is where showing your excitement actually becomes a strategic move. You have to remember, this isn't a battle where one person wins and the other loses. Every time you show how excited you are for the job, you're basically reminding them that you're on the same team, that you both want to find a solution that works. It keeps things collaborative instead of confrontational. And here's another great tool for your toolkit. It's a simple, easy question that doesn't put anyone on the defensive, but it can open up a ton of new possibilities. The real magic of this question is that it turns a demand into a discussion. You're not saying, I have to have more. You're inviting them to problem solve with you. It really opens the door to a more creative process, and you might end up with solutions you hadn't even thought of. All right, now that we know what to say, let's talk about what not to do. There are some common traps here. Try not to make it all about you by just saying, I need. Don't get emotional or make threats. And please, please, whatever you do, do not accept the first offer. Don't tell them your lowest number, listen more than you talk, and most importantly, always, always get that final offer in writing. So, what happens if you ask for more money and they say no? First of all, don't panic. This is not a failure. The negotiation is not over, not by a long shot. It just means it's time to zoom out and think a little bigger. This slide right here is a total game changer. I mean, just look at these numbers. Almost 80% of people who ask for a more flexible schedule get it. More than half of people successfully negotiate for more vacation time or a better bonus. These aren't just little perks, you guys. These are really valuable parts of your job that you can and you absolutely should be negotiating. Don't just leave that value sitting there. This is what we call your total compensation package. It's the full picture of what the company is offering you. So when you're negotiating, you need to be looking at the whole thing: the health insurance, the retirement match, the time off, not just that one number for your base salary. So let's pull all of this together. Here is your final checklist for a successful negotiation. Think of it as your guide to make sure you walk in there ready for anything they throw at you. Here it is, your 6-step battle plan. Research, set your target, practice, list your wins, understand the full package, and get it in writing. Really let these 6 steps sink in. If you follow them, you're not just going to feel confident, you're going to be unstoppable. Hey, remember where we started? With that stat that most employers are expecting you to negotiate? The game is already tilted in your favor. You now have the tools, you have the strategy, and you have the confidence. The only thing left to do is make the ask. So, what are you waiting for?